Well, hey, everybody. Of course, this is Doc G setting up the show for today, the special show for Chance's Chat. We have, of course, Wyatt with us as well. I don't know if Fabulous Brian is going to be with us or Fascinating Brian is going to be with us or not. But I just want to welcome everybody to tonight's show. This is a special show for Chance's Chat. Of course, I'm Doc G, Chance McFadden, Wyatt, and we're hoping that you love the show. This is going to be a lot of responses to a lot of the questions that I think Chance gets to over a period of time. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat, and I would be more than glad to. If you put them in the chat, I will be more than glad to put them out. Now Wyatt has just joined us. Hi Wyatt, are you there? Wyatt, are you there? So Wyatt is here. Chance had to just go away for a second. He'll be back.
Yeah, I'm here.
So welcome, Wyatt, to Chance's show, and Chance will be here in a couple minutes.
No problem.
This is also for entertainment purposes, but it also may not be.
Yep. And the intel shared is in the theory realm at the present moment, but the evidence will, well, you decide on the evidence that is going to be presented. Use your discernment, people. Okay, so we didn't do the countdown.
No, he didn't. I just did it.
I was waiting for that. But
yeah, sometimes you don't let me do that. She said, "Why are we all at this hype over the weekend and nothing? What's going on?"
Well,
you want to take that, Wyatt?
There's a lot happening. Okay, well, I might as well get going on this. Chance and I had a discussion after his show on Thursday last, and I got to tell you, we were sitting there talking about the appointments that President Trump was making, insofar as the AG, Pete Hegseth, and all that sort of stuff, and how everybody on the left is absolutely losing their minds over this, right? I mean, TDS is very, very real, folks. It's and I'm telling you now, we are absolutely at the pointy end of the stick. And so what I want to discuss tonight is future proves the past. Now, number one, they didn't like the fact that Trump came down the golden escalator and said, "I'm running as a Republican," and they'd known about the fact that Trump was going to run as a Republican around about 2011, because he was touting the idea that he might possibly run. So he gave them a heads up. They didn't really want to believe it. They didn't believe it until that day. And that's when the attacks on him started, all the Russia, and all the nonsense and whatnot like that. Now, Q was saying that the old guard would be removed. Well, these appointments that President Trump is making is actually removing the old guard in DC, right? Now, basically, the old white guys are the problem, right? And that's what both sides of politics have been complaining about. They're like, as we the people, too many old white guys who are out of touch with reality and what is actually going on. They're all warmongers, and these people are pushing for wars left and right. Now you see President Trump making appointments not only to drive the left nuts, but these people are young, they're intelligent, they're all very, very qualified in their particular fields, and they are removing the old guard. Right? So now that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you listen, anybody who's listened to Derek Johnson, Rattletrap 1776, right? He's been talking about the devolution of government, the Law of War Manual, and the UCMJ. Now, in 2017 and 2018, President Trump made a series of executive orders about the corrupt and whatnot like that, right? And how he could seize internationally property and assets of people who are involved in human trafficking, etc., etc., etc. Now, that plays in also into the Law of War manual, which was updated in, I believe, from memory, it was 2019. And the UCMJ was also updated around that time as well. Now, the Law of War manual was updated by numerous presidents prior to President Trump taking office, and they made those changes so that they could protect themselves from their crimes. Now, when President Trump changed the Law of War manual, he took away all of those protections, but they were not retroactive. In other words, these people who committed the crimes like Obama, Clinton, and company, the Bushes, right, going all the way back to Reagan, right, they could not be prosecuted for their crimes. So they had to be allowed to commit their crimes again. Hence, the 4 years that we've had to put up with the Biden administration. All right, everybody with me so far, I hope. So when Biden took office on the 20th of January, 2021, it was not an inauguration. It was a funeral service. It was a military funeral because of the gun salute that was done at Arlington. He was not allowed to touch the wreath at Arlington at the Tomb of the Unknown. These were all the different comms that were going on. But it was absolutely a military funeral. So that meant that what was going on was all controlled by the military. Now, prior to leaving office in 2020 and during 2020, President Trump made a number of changes through executive orders that actually allowed him to remain on as Commander-in-Chief of the Republic. All right? So he stayed. Trump never actually left. He left the presidency, but he did not leave as Commander-in-Chief of the Republic.
That's correct. That's correct. And he also didn't concede, and
right.
and neither Harris or Biden had their hand on the Bible.
That's right, because they had something over the top of it because they're Satanists and they're not allowed to touch the Bible.
Right.
But the thing is, Trump has had the nuclear football with him all this time. They've been talking, they've been wanting the Democrats and whatnot have been talking up World War III, and we've all been hearing about the fake World War III scenario, etc., etc. Well, it's not going to happen because Trump has got the football. It's not going to happen, right? So, on the day that Biden had his funeral ceremony, which they passed off as being the inauguration, Trump was reportedly at Andrews Air Force Base in a red carpet ceremony in full military honors, being sworn in as the Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of the United States. Okay? And JFK Jr. is supposed to be the Vice President or the Deputy CIC. Right? Now, if people go back through the intel and whatnot like that, that's what happened. You just have to go back and look at it. The devolution of government has been in play since 2020. Actually, before 2020. There's late 2020. Late 2020 has been in place. They've been devolving the government. That's why you're seeing all of this political theatre going on at the present moment. And so what happened on the 5th of November? Well, the 5th of November was not supposed to happen. According to everything that we were being told, oh, the election's going to be cancelled. It's not going to go ahead. You know. Now, there's two reasons why it did go ahead. Number one, it was because, you know, it would have been probably more of a situation where, look, we do not need the riots in the street. We do not need the civil war that everybody's been touting also, right? So it was to minimise damage. We'll let them have their meltdown after the fact. We'll just go through with the election. When that was decided, the military were heavily involved in stopping the electoral fraud, because a lot of these, and I think we've even touched on it in previous shows, that certain people like Adam Schiff and these crooked Democrats, they all got back in. They were allowed to commit their crimes again, right? That's what that was about. But I think if everybody really took a look at the map, you know, and saw the true map with it, discounting all of the fraud, the entire country is red. The entire United States is red. Even California is pink right now, because California voted, a lot of them voted for President Trump. So what happened? The switch happened. The switch, which we all missed, myself included, happened on the 20th of January, 2021. The Republic has been operating in the shadows all this time. When the election was called by the corporation, the military, who are in control of everything, took it over and ensured that there would be no electoral fraud. The Republic is restored. It is right now. We are in the Republic right this minute. And what we are seeing right now, and what we've disclosed, what I've just disclosed to people right now, is the fact that the Republic is actually in place. President Trump is actually the CIC. He will be duly sworn in at the appropriate time. But these appointments that he's making, he can make these appointments under Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution, that allows the president, in extraordinary circumstances, to suspend Congress. He can make these appointments without having to go through the screening of the Senate. And that's why the left are losing their minds about these appointments, because they know he has the power, and that he has had the power all along. But right now, the military is running absolutely everything on the command of Commander-in-Chief Trump.
I'd like to add something, Wyatt, if I could.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, on the day of the insurrection, Trump signed what was called the PED Act, the Presidential Executive
Action
document.
Yeah.
And what he did was he suspended the Constitution, because during the implementation of the updated Art of War, there was a few things that they wanted to make sure that they did not violate in the Constitution. So they thought it was better to suspend it. Now, that's when all the trouble came with the Admiralty Maritime Courts. Okay, the Admiralty Maritime Courts figured it out, and they said, this is a time we're going to rape and pillage everybody that comes into our supposed jurisdiction. Okay? Okay, if you can't hear anything, then put up the link, Doc G, for Hamilton Radio Family on Facebook.
Gotcha. Good.
Yeah, and that insurrection was actually a Fedsurrection, because
right.
Kash Patel, in his testimony, discounted everything that the left and the committee, the insurrection committee put forward, and they destroyed records. But his testimony in court absolutely destroyed the narrative. That's the reason why Jack Smith has never ever prosecuted President Trump for insurrection under the Insurrection Act.
Okay,
So-
Jan Helper, put that Jan Helper thing back up there. Okay, well, first of all, let me talk to you about Dr. Jan Helper. Okay, now I pay attention to a lot of details. I pay attention. I've told this on this show. Jan Helper announced Bronson on the 15th of November, but will not post the link. Well, guess what? That link's coming. But let me talk to you about an actress by the name of Swoosie Kurtz. Okay, do your research. Swoosie Kurtz is Dr. Jan Helper. There's no history of Dr. Jan Helper prior to all this political mumbo jumbo that we've been experiencing as politics. Okay, that's it.
Yes,
Presidential alert. Exactly. So what Swoosie Kurtz, Jan Helper, she's just another actor, another actress in the play. But okay, she serves a purpose, and I really appreciate the fact that she is a patriot, because no, is World War III about ready to start? No, this is not the trigger. It's all bullshit. If you're listening to, oh my God, I can't listen. I tell you guys, and I tell you guys, and I tell you guys, if World War III was imminent, you don't think Doc and me and Brian and Wyatt would tell you to start digging a sub basement or something? My God, guys, listen, it's all bullshit. Everything these people and yeah, Phil Godlewski canceled his live again tonight. Why? I wonder why. Phil, are you anybody that could be doing live tonight? Would that be the reason why, Phil? Come on now. I beat you to the punch on the Brunson ruling, and I beat you to the punch on the Republic coming back. You and Doc, Wyatt has absolutely laid down all the evidence for you. So Phil G, just go dance along with your $25 million that you seem to have or don't have, or go in and just go away. Okay, you're not in the real world. Okay, no, it's not John Revers. It's Swoosie Kurtz.
And the thing is, no disrespect to these other patriots who are doing their work or whatnot like that, but we have broken the biggest decode on this show tonight than any, and we were the first to do it. We have gone through the evidence in very overview types of by method, but we have demonstrated that even these guys like Captain Kyle, Phil G, all of anybody you can think of or name in the freedom movement have not figured this out yet. We are miles ahead of them. And it was only because of a discussion that I was having with Chance on Friday night or Friday morning, my time, which was fairly late on Chance's time on Thursday. But Chance and I figured this out. We realised what's really going on. Now, Craig Smith has asked why there's so many Zionists being appointed. Israel is last. Israel has to be treated like a friend at the moment to get them on side to do what they need, that needs to be done, okay? So you can't go in there as their adversary. You've got to go in there as their friend and have a little quiet word in their ear saying, look, you need to do this. That's why these guys are being put in, okay? But I'm telling you now, all the appointees that Trump is putting forward are highly intelligent. They're highly qualified. Pete Hegseth what's his back? Whoopi Goldberg was going off about Pete Hegseth. Oh, what's his qualification? Okay, well, he's a major in the National Guard, served in Afghanistan and Iraq, got 2 Bronze Stars, which is for valor or exemplary service, right? He's got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. He is geopolitically attuned to what's really going on. He understands the military because he served. All of these other guys that have been in the positions of Secretary of State never served a day in uniform. Who would you rather? Right? Oh, but he's just a Fox News co-host. No, he's not. He's much more than that. Tulsi Gabbard. She's in the National Guard. She's a lieutenant colonel. She's been involved in the intelligence sector. That's why she's in the DNI now. Just go and look up these people's history, because it's really, it's really important that you do, so that you understand that these people are the people who are changing the old guard, because there's no more old white guys running the show. And this is not only, they're talking about Harris was talking about changing the way everybody thinks about things, and how the torch needs to be handed to the younger generation. Well, guess what? Trump's doing exactly that. And that was his plan all along. Just remember, he had 4 years to vet all of these people. 4 years. All right? He's not going to make the same mistakes he made last time.
Right. Okay.
I'm very happy with these appointments, and you should be happy about the direction that America is about to take, I'm telling you. And indeed the rest of the world should be happy about it, because you're not going to know freedom like this. You've never known freedom like what you're about to get, I'm telling you. It's going to
they're going to be like a drunken sailor with a pocket full of money on shore leave.
Oh.
Is what is.
How are you, Brian? We haven't heard from you yet. You've been listening in intently.
Oh, I'm always paying attention to the energy and frequencies and the words spoken. So you're not wrong. I guess really what the people need to understand is that a lot of these people have made a lot of deals, right? So even if they are in your face surface value, they're not permanent positions for them. They're doing it to keep their family members from being martyrs, if I'm going to be clear. And then they'll quietly go and disappear, and then they'll let a newer face that represents the human take over. People have been saying, like, well, how can Trump have a mixed bag of like sweet and sour candy, right? So you know what the sour is. It's the villains, and then the other ones are going to do really good things, like JFK is going to be in charge of the health and food of, for what's going to be considered good for the body. And someone else is going to be in charge of like the money, but we know that they're sketchy. It all has merit. It all has purpose, because again, you don't know who's the real Trump. The real Trump could be someone who made a deal, right? So they got an ankle bracelet. He's not pretty ankle. He's going to play the part and do what he needs to do because it's obvious. And just to let you know, and this is a little bit off topic, but this will give you kind of some credence, is like, don't expect 3D to really deviate or change or to be for the people. I'm sorry. It isn't, and I'll tell you why. Because there is no standard formula here. It's designed to where everyone is put in a survival basket. And a perfect example is and I'm going to do a little bit of storytelling. I've been assisted greatly in doing an audit on myself. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of discrepancies that I'm having from a personal point of view, and I'm talking about like the fake taxes. And right now, it's looking like I owe like a lot of tax money. I'm not talking about 10K. I'm talking about like a little over 20. And I'm like, okay, can I actually afford that? No. But what's really interesting is like within the dialogue or within the structure of these tax, I guess, alleviations or whatever. There's one that I thought that this person showed me, and I thought, wow. So it said if I donate an organ or organs, I could get a tax break within the tax bracket. And I was like, what? So there's like this tit for tat. In all, I mean, there was like, I swear it could have been like, I at least saw 20 different ideas. You know, would you like to donate $1 here? Would you like to, you know, do this or that? And I'm like, how can anyone normal be able to do an audit with all this garbage and having to sort and sift and play? It's almost like you're rolling dice and hoping for not crap, you know, getting craps, crapping out on your luck. But there was just so much tit for tat and, you know, doing this and that. And then between, you know, income tax and state tax. So there's always a grab. There's always a cash grab. If it's not in your income tax, it's in your state tax, depending on, of course, what state you're in. So the normal federal tax seems to be fine. But however, in my state tax, because I live in Massachusetts, they want to take a huge chunk from alimony. And you would think, what? Why would they do that? And it's just 3D. That's all I could say. Because ever since they have taken you off of a standardized system, there was a boon for more Ponzi schemes to become illusionary and to give you nothing in return, but for you to always pay and pay and pay and pay. So they always found a way through all these schemes and shifting money, but never really letting you hold it, but to give you maybe a little bit back, but to always take more from somewhere else. And you have to realize that that is actually normal. It's normal for these games here because there's a couple of rules from the collective consciousness that must be honored. If you do not have a holistic society, meaning transparency, you're guaranteed to not have a comfortable third density. That's just how it is. And if you give your power away in so many formulas, that just stacks the cards against you. It doesn't matter how you look at it. So why am I talking about this? It's really important to know what you wish to give your energy and what you wish to pay attention to, especially now that we're getting assumption, of course, objectively a lot closer, right? You need to pay attention more to your own energy, your own consumption of what you take in addition to like how you feel about it. But, and whether or not you can navigate it from as an observer with a neutral flatlining energy. So that's where we are. And I'm not stressed about how, I feel that there was some disingenuine or unjust ideas that took place through my transition in the divorce. But at the same time, I gave my power away. So it is more my fault and not my ex's fault for whatever things transpired because again, I was the stay-at-home dad. I didn't work. So, and I don't have money for a lawyer. So I said, you do, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to let you take control of the situation. And I mean, she'd offered it. She's like, well, it's, if you get yourself a lawyer, it's going to be super expensive. And I was like, well, I don't want to be a detriment. I just want a smooth transition. So there's a lot of learning experiences that we can all learn from each other. But most importantly, don't give away your own power. Make sure you do what's right for you, but also involve yourself, no matter how minor the nuance is, because you need to know, because it could be too late. Or you may have to go take action, backtrack, and spend hours or days and weeks to recorrect errors because you were complacent. So again, I'm thankful for each and every experience that happens to me, because I don't look at anything as a negative or a detriment. That's not how I. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Brian?
Sure.
Did you get a letter from him?
From who?
IRS.
No. Well, no, because I'm doing the audit first.
Okay, now wait a minute. So you've acknowledged the letter, or you've acknowledged their claim?
So basically, there's been a lot of questions that have been asked within like the tax bracket, and then we went to look at some discrepancies, like what my ex did, because again, this is where complacency comes in. She created a retirement account for me out of her own retirement account. But she wasn't supposed to do that. So whatever happened in the divorce decree, or whatever they told her that she could do. So basically she avoided a taxation to her own retirement account by separating hers and giving me a share of it, because again, I was a stay-at-home dad, right? But it dictates within the Vanguard that says, no, you have to work in order to have a retirement account. But since I haven't worked in over a decade, when I was raising my kids as stay-at-home father, that should have been alimony, but taxed on her. That's the problem. So there's like this huge chunk of money I'm missing, and what would alleviate my, like, let's say my 20K is when I go identify that through the divorce decree. Then I had to call Vanguard and tell them, look, you can see that I've never worked. She should have never opened a retirement account for me, and I should have never been taxed from the funds that she gave me through the divorce, because it was a large sum. So that's where that's the description of like the storytelling of complacency, but that's negligence.
And that's going to end up costing you money.
But it's unavoidable.
Yeah, I know. But yeah.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It might be avoidable. When you get no, wait a minute. Let me tell you something that I've done in the past to make this stuff go away. Okay. First of all, after the determination is made that you owe X amount of dollars, after you parry and thrust with these guys back and forth, okay?
But I already paid. Here's the thing, Chance. Sorry to cut you off. I already paid the percentage to Vanguard has already taken the percentage of like a chunk of like $75K from the divorce settlement of the other. From what I pulled out over the years. So that has already been facilitated. So because of that, I had to backtrack. And then what will probably happen is she will end up, they'll pull from her tax, right? Because they have to do it from her end. And then once the Vanguard goes through the IRS will go, okay, well, he owes $20,000 in taxes, so we'll pull from that 75, and then they'll give me the 50K or 55K or whatever it is, which is fine, right? Because again, they're still going to steal from you. It's still illusionary. They're going to find some way to make you pay. So I'm not trying to be ungrateful of the process, but it'll also allow me to file my taxes so I can get and recoup even half of that, which I would. But I just wanted to give you the broader scope.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
Guys, stick around because Chance has got some intel that's going to come up at the end, towards the end of this broadcast. So do stick around. We're just talking about other things at the moment, particularly what Chance and I have decoded. There's been a couple of questions. Rubio, he's a placeholder. He's there for a purpose. Once he's served his purpose, he'll be gone. Okay, don't worry. Same will probably be the same. It'll probably be the same for Mike Huckabee. Okay, they are both pro-Israel. America needs to present as a friend to Israel so they can have a quiet word in their ear and say, guys, pull your heads in, okay? And then once they've got taken care of Israel, these two will be removed and they will be replaced. Okay, second, the question of the Nasara. Nasara was, according to intel that I had received, was soft announced and took effect on the 5th of November during the election. The military were overseeing this election. It's been done under the Republic. That's your Nasara, Jassara compliance insofar as the United States is concerned. Okay? I don't really think that there's going to be any necessity for America to go back to the polls in 120 days, but they will announce that a Nasara took effect from that date, right? It will be a hard announcement, and because it's the military that are in charge of everything, it's going to be the military that does this. It's going to be the military that makes the announcement of the Brunson case, right? And that's when your disclosure starts. That's when and most likely within minutes of all of that happening, that's when the EBS will go off. But we have to wait for that because there are certain other things happening. The dollar is in a downward slope at the moment. It's like it's about to fall off the edge of the cliff. The banks are going to be affected, very seriously affected, and they're going to be affected for a short time. Now, I'm told that there may be some bank closures, but the bigger banks are going to buy up all those, buy all those other ones up. So, we're getting conflicting reports. Chance has got information on that. I don't know if you can release that at the moment, but I know I haven't disclosed any of it, but I'm not going to, and I'm not going to without your say-so, Chance. But the thing is, about all of this election, they had done the switch in 2021 and we all missed it. We all missed it. Every truther missed it. And it's taken to get to nearly to the very end of this to realize what really happened. I'm kicking myself for being so stupid. But at the same time, I am hyper excited about this because we're just waiting for the movie to catch up with reality now. And I'm telling you now, I think it's on a hair's breadth. Wouldn't you agree, Chance?
Oh yeah, everything's a mess. I talked about this on Thursday's show, but here's what I did. I called a local bank that I've been with for about 35 years. The same location has changed hands three different times. And but anyway, he got real upset that I was asking if they were ISO 20022 compliant. And they said, well, that's personal bank business. You don't need to know that. And I said, do you know what that even is? And he says, no. He says, it's personal bank business. And I said, no, it isn't. I says, you guys have to have, in order to be compliant with the ISO ruling, you have to have X amount of gold in the thing, or you could be forced out of business. And he says, and I said, the Federal Reserve has already gotten the dollar revalued to the point where it's not even worth 3 cents. So, you're going to have that if your stockholders and everybody wants, stay in business. And he says, I told him, I said, there's been 3,000, and like 4 months ago, there was 3,002 banks in the last 4 years fail. And this banker says, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but he says, first of all, it's very rare for one bank to fail, let alone all of them, or 3,000 of them. And I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, help me deal with this child, because he obviously was some 25-year-old skinny kid with a, $25 necktie, and he and he just doesn't know what's going on in the world. I mean, they think the Federal Reserve is going to be here forever, and I look for the announcement of it being. I mean, they've gone into Trump's had multiple, and the Fed. What's the purpose of it? There's no purpose. Oh, and one other thing I want to add. Okay, I got a screenshot from a friend of mine today of the inside of a bank vault. This wasn't a shared photo. It was something he took with his cell phone. And the new USTNs are stacked up, waiting for distribution. And he says, when are these going to be released? He says, in about a week or so. Okay. Now that in itself is pretty huge news. Okay. In about a week or so. Okay. So anyway, let's forget all about that 25-year-old kid. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read. And if you want to get all the information, okay, you're going to have to stay till the end of the show. We don't know how long the show is going to last. Yes, now we have confirmation. Wyatt has confirmation of the mirroring of the bank accounts. Okay. Now, before I go into any intel, I want to tell Brian, anything that you may have lost in the fiat system will be recovered, and it will probably be automatically mirrored into the new into your new QFS account. So it'll be there, even if they take the fiat out, your new money will be in there. So you're really not losing anything except for maybe a week or two. Okay.
That's fine, but my recommendation still to the public is please do not attempt to buy any or invest in any QFS anything coming out,
right,
and BRICS anything coming out. Just don't do it. Just wait, be patient until you see the all around of the world version versus, no, we're the first ones to get this. No, we're the first ones to get that. And that's just basically a sales pitch being thrown at you.
Yep. And it's a scam too. It's a scam.
And I got to tell you, this is absolutely, really your last chance to get a Wise account, and put your money over into that, and then buy Vietnamese dong before this RV happens. Right?
Yeah. Now, what everybody needs to realize about the Wise account is completely separate of the RV. Yeah. You're going to have the first reset is the Wise account. And then when the Forex switches on to the new rate of the Iraqi dinar, then the Wise account comes. The Iraqi dinar rate will come live on the Wise, but we don't have any dinars that we can buy on there. So that will automatically trigger the Vietnamese dong rate. And you, okay, so if you've got 1,200, let's say you got 1,200,000 Vietnamese dong in your account, which is the equivalent of $40, okay? When this button is pushed, you're still going to have 1,200,000 Vietnamese dong, but now your American total is going to change to about $2.5 million. Okay. Don't ask me to explain that again. Okay. Because I've explained it so many times. I look at my poor forehead. My hair is falling out because you guys asking me the same question over and over again.
So,
yeah, well, the seat of government under the Republic will go to Texas. Now, there's a reason for that as well, because in 1860, after the standoff at the Alamo, Polk, the governor at the time, decided to adopt the English common law, which includes the Magna Carta and the Bill of Rights of 1688 as part of the Constitution of Texas. Right? So when this all happens and we go into the New World, we're going into common law. It will be the English common law. Okay? Worldwide. So you'll have common law and the law of contract. And those will be the only two laws. Now, the seat of government of the Republic will be in Texas, because Texas was the original republic before anything else. Right? Now, the other departments, defense, treasury, all that, they're all going to be in different states. What I do know is that it's most likely that Treasury will remain in Reno, Nevada. Why? Because that's where they've been printing the USTNs, in Reno, Nevada, on the Indian reservation there. Okay? So why move it? But all of these other departments will be, like the law enforcement agencies, the intelligence agencies, all that, the alphabet agencies, they're all going to be in different states. The reason for that is so that the swamp cannot reform. Okay? And then I don't care what they do to DC. I really don't. They can flood it, they can burn it, they can bomb it, whatever. Exactly, Lizard. Yeah, don't mess with Texas. Okay, so that's pretty much all I've got at the moment, Chance. I mean,
we got to cover something. People keep asking this silly. Notice I'm saying silly and not stupid. I'm not calling you ignorant or stupid. I'm calling you silly. Hang on a second. I'll fix it.
We can't have quietness, guys.
All right. Here's what's going on. This is a silly question. Okay, so don't be silly no more. I'm going to explain this to you one time and one time only. So please get this through your heads, please. This is fiat currency. We have used fiat currency to buy foreign currency, which is also fiat. Follow me? So we got two kinds of currencies: U.S. currency fiat, foreign currency fiat. The foreign currency, not the U.S. dollar, is going to revalue. And let's say this is the Vietnamese dong, okay? This is the dong, and it's revalued to anywhere between $2.50 on Wise to $12.50 at the Redemption Center. Okay? But over here on the other side, we have the Zimbabwe currency, which is going to be dollar for dollar, but your return will be on a platform investment. You will get X amount of interest every month. Leave it alone. Let it work for you. Keep that interest going. Okay? Now, all these currencies are going to revalue except for the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is going away. And all these other old currencies will be destroyed, and each country will have its own new currencies. If I'm saying something wrong, anyone, correct me. Okay? Now, after we get this all done 6 months from now, okay, and you've got, let's say you got a pile of money here, $25,000 in the new U.S. money. That money, that revalued money, that's the end of the game. But over here in Vietnam, their revalued money is going to be worth the same as this revalued money, as the same as the Pango revalued money, as the Zimbabwe revalued money, dollar for dollar after it's all over and smoke is cleared. Okay? Okay. And will the dollar demonetized debt be paid in, and what then? Okay, this is the other thing.
Matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because Nassar erases all debt.
It's fiction.
Yeah.
It's an illusion.
So you got monopoly money. It
Exactly.
holds no intrinsic value whatsoever. Then you've got the US Treasury note, gold backed. There it is, right there. It's gold backed. It's tangible. You can hold it in your hot little claw and you know that it's got value. What's going to happen with all of these other fiat currencies, right? Like the monopoly money in your country, it's worthless, but they're going to value it up. But the thing is, when the US Treasury note comes in, what's going to happen is that all of these, with the revaluation, what's going to happen with all of these monopoly money, they're going to be gold backed also. And because gold is going to be set at $300,000 US an ounce, which backs every single dollar, this is why the banks have to have the gold in their bank, because everywhere you go, $1 is $1 after this revaluation. Okay? That's what this is all about. So, and if you've got money in your bank account, like in a Wise account, like Chance says, and you've put it into Vietnamese dong, you're going to get a payday, and a big one. Okay? This is why we tell you to get into Wise. This is why we tell you to get Vietnamese dong on Wise. And the transactions are a lot cheaper than any bank can offer. So, and as I say, this is your last chance to do this, because it's going to be happening possibly even as early as this week. We don't know exactly when. They're not going to tell us that. They're not going to tell us that much. But it is going to happen. And when it does happen, if you've been prepared, or you've gone out and bought physical dong and Bolivar, Zim, Pengo, what's that other one? The Digitalis.
Indonesian Rupee.
Yeah, and all that. You go and buy all these foreign currencies, you're going to have a head start on everybody else. Okay? And when you do go to exchange, I can tell you now, even if you're doing an exchange because you've just got foreign currencies, you're going to be put on an NDA over it. You really will. Reason being, because they're trying to protect you with it. Because, you can sit there and say, I got X amount on the exchange rate, and they go and they don't get the same amount. They're going to be peeved. So, this is why the NDAs are in place, a part to protect you. You can't go double dipping. You can't go and do your exchange and then go and buy more and then go and try and exchange again. No, you can't do that. Right? And
well, they're going to but they're going to, I think the idea is you want to remove the old 3D elements. So you're going to gather any and all the bonds and all the banknotes, and they're most likely just going to destroy them all. They may keep a few for documentation of like, oh yeah, look at all this beautiful symbology and those hidden things and trapdoors of black magic and this and that. We don't want any of that, in my opinion. I wouldn't want any of that money anymore. Yeah. But at the same time,
and greed keeps you in the 3D.
Yes.
I'm serious. It really does. It's a negative energy. It pushes you down. So don't get involved in greed, guys. Seriously, if you've got a chance to do this now, do it now, because this is probably among your last chances to do it. We don't know exactly when they're going to pull the trigger. Well, nobody knows that except probably 2 people in the entire world. Right? That's the technician that's going to hit the EBS button and President Trump. So, please listen to what we're telling you. I mean, a lot of people haven't over the years, and they're still not listening. But I'm telling you, if you don't listen now, you're going to miss out. And, we tried, and my pronouns are, I tried to tell you.
But I like my version. I like my version where I say, or don't do anything. Because, I mean, really, there are some that are just going to do that. But at the same time, I think a lot of you need to take the initiative and also try and understand some of the new programs. So research the ISO 222. And as I have said the last couple of times on the show, also, I'm not saying invest in the currencies. You're trying to get to know the new algorithm. So you want to look at the Stellar network, like, STELLAR network. It's cool. It's actually even tells you how the transactions, like how fast the transactions go, like complete. I was like astonished when I saw that when I first started researching it, because that's like the snap of the fingers. And then they're also teaching you the idea of blockchain. So if you can imagine and understand blockchain from QFS format, it's hack proof. So let me give you an idea of hack proof. You have your name, and I don't necessarily mean all in caps. We'll just say your full name. Each letter is in a single block. So all the letters are encapsulated in a block, and then there's a bigger block that encapsulates your full name. If a hacker was to attempt to hack, they need to hack each block. Once that block has been hacked into, the block is ejected, and a fresh new block of that letter is put right in, and therefore it's already reset. That is like interstellar or high-tech protection. You don't have to worry about ever losing anything within a higher sentient program that is assisting for the betterment of humans. So you should embrace that idea. You should even visualize that idea of someone trying to get into your stuff. You're like, nope, it's not working, because it's instantaneous. No matter how many times you try and hack it, it's not going to be possible. And on top of that, if they do, the new criteria for the newer game board is there is a black mark within integrity, and it does stay permanently on your file. It also drops you in a lower status. So everyone will have the opportunity to be equal across the board, sovereign. But the moment you act like a 3D take narcissist, you're going to drop out of that sovereign bracket quickly. You and people, and it'll be archived within the new QFS system, and people will be able to look at it. So it's going to affect your relationships. If someone's curious about who you were in your relationship, doesn't matter if you changed for the better, that black mark doesn't go away, because it's a higher integrity format for a higher level of a game board. So you're going to have to learn how to play quite differently. Just something to be considered when all these newer technologies come out. And you may think it's not fair, but it's all fair, Love and War, especially when you're getting to start fresh. So either be the adult, or you can play the game as a child with a tantrum.
Yeah, I want to let people know that don't know about WISE, the people that come on to this podcast for the very first time. Got to tell you, WISE is backed by the White Hats. Okay, so it's okay to give them the information that they need to identify you. Okay, you can't get physical money out of it, but you can use it just like a credit card. You can get a credit card. You can get a Visa card, like a Wise Visa card, and you can transfer money backwards and forwards from your bank. Okay, it's just really, really convenient as well. Okay,
I will add something there, Wyatt. If you can't get a Wise card for one reason or another, don't think that you're being left out. Okay, the website is called wise.com. If you have trouble setting up an account, you need to go on YouTube and watch the YouTube videos on how to set up a wise.com account. And it used to be called TransferWise, so it might be videos under that too. But here's the thing, guys. This is outside of the RV. It's happening because of the RV, but it's not really a bank. It's more of a holding company. And, you can transfer money to this and that, and it's cost pennies, instead of hundreds of dollars. Okay. Now, in the event this happens this week, and if you haven't converted your U.S. dollars over into Vietnamese dong, then you're out of luck. You can't do it after the fact. So you got to get on this now. And remember that the Wise account is separate from the RV of the physical currencies. That's two different things. It's two different reconfigurations, or if you want to call it, two different resets. Do not, under any circumstances, call customer service at wise.com and ask them any questions about the future values of the RV or anything like this. They don't know nothing about it, and it will get your account red flagged so that you will not be able to participate in the wise.com transfer of money. Okay? Yeah, Wise account will have no limits after the quantum system comes in. Wise is ISO compliant, and they are also not going to be answering any questions you're going to have about this. Okay, they don't. I get answered the same questions every day, and the same questions come up on the Telegram channel every day, guys. Please pay attention. Please take notes. If you'd have been taking notes 6-8 months ago, you wouldn't be asking these questions, so we could talk to you about other things that are more pertinent. Okay.
Well, a lot of new
Well,
audience.
we do have a lot of new people in here tonight too, Chance.
Audience members too, Chance.
That's
But
the
at
other
the same
part,
time, people need to understand ascension is all about all of our point of view. That's what it is. It's even though there is this cosmic formula, it is a combination of ideas that you are wanting to bring forth or spring forth in creativity. You want the highest vibrational outcome. That is literally what ascension is all about. It's about a lighter version, an expanded version where it works for the humans, it works for nature, it works for the planet, it works off planet. I mean, a perfect example to look at from a very simple, outlook, just watch Star Trek. That is a great example of ascension because you're no longer in your little snow globe. You can travel the stars. You can meet all sorts of ego. And then you can say, goddamn Ferengis. That's what you can say. You can look at them and you say, he ripped me off. It's just a more expanded experience, right? So you can either play down in a lower dimensional field and get taken advantage of, or you could go out off planet and, get Ferengi scammed. Assuming if they're real and they have their own culture. I'm just giving you an example, but it's still ascension.
Everything you do, good or bad, has a ripple effect.
Yes.
All right? If you put out the good ripples, you're fine. You put out the bad ripples, not so much.
You get it.
Right? Yeah. And the thing is, the good ripples affect other people. Being positive and thinking positive actually draws other positive people toward you, right? But it also draws the negative people. But if you've got enough positive people around you and you're staying in that vibration, these negative people can't affect you. And that in itself is a form of ascension, in my view, because of the fact you are around other very positive people, and these negative people aren't getting anywhere with you. You have been able to separate yourself from them at a physical level, at a mental level, at a vibrational level. A spiritual level, it may be something different, but that's what I think Brian's saying. Isn't that right?
Well, yeah, it's about like your ideas, right? Because we're all on our personal journey. So if you're fearful about space pirates kidnapping you and selling you on a foreign planet, you're going to get that experience.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's just the law of mirrors. Like what you put out has to come back, right? In frequency. Doesn't matter. Positive, negative, you get it all. It's true if you're very positive all the time, the negative is going to crinkle its nose, look at you and go, I'm going to go mess with them because they're just shining too bright. And the negative just wants to feed off and create more negativity. That's why I say there are 3 pathways in energy navigation. You could be positive, you could be neutral, which is invisible. You're invisible to the light side, but you're also invisible to the dark side. And you're like, well, what's the point in being positive? Well, like I say, you be positive, then you reset and become invisible. It's like an echo that a whale does with its voice. You just echo your consciousness, and then you zero it out, and you're just saying, ha, I just released it, I'm positive, and then you just zero it out, and then you just invisible again, and then the negative guys are like, where'd he go? I can't see him. I can't mess with him. Who was it anyways? And they're like, well, we'll just go mess with someone else. And that's how the astral side works. Yeah.
I'm hearing somebody asked about silver. I'm hearing within 2 weeks, silver's going to go up to $100 an ounce. And after that, the sky's the limit. So keep that in mind. No, your local coin dealer is not going to be able to give you that much cash if you decide to cash out of the silver or gold. But what you can do is you will put it in, and then she will put it in to a broker who will pay you the street rate, the revalued rate of the silver. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That is this question is, guys, is there any chance we are being scammed and Trump is not who we think he is? I don't believe it, but it's being put out there. Yeah, I know. Trump is Elvis and Elvis is Satan and all this crap. Okay.
It's a yes and no. It really is. It's a yes and no because, it's not the real one. If the real one's smart, he'd be stuck in Cheyenne Mountain until it's time for himself to come out.
Exactly.
Therefore, the scam is you get the fake one. That way, the fake one, in case it ever gets killed, they still got plenty of other replacements. Even if they say, no, I don't want to wear the Trump suit, and they're going to you're going to wear the Trump suit. And you don't get
it's been widely reported and speculated that JFK Jr. has played Trump, that Elvis, who is alive, has played Trump, the golfing Trump is actually John Daly. I mean, look, nobody really knows the truth, right? And
you don't really know the truth.
That stuff does not matter. Okay, it's just a distraction. It truly is. I mean, all we know is that President Trump is the commander-in-chief of the Republic. The Republic is in force right now. Absolutely. The elections of November 5 were the elections for the Republic because Nasara took effect on the same day, thereby negating the necessity for another election 120 days later. And let's face it, who in America, after all the quagmire that was this election cycle, would want to go back out and vote again? Right? You also need to take a look at the figures of the votes for Trump as opposed to the votes for Harris. only 13% of the people who voted for Harris. 13%. Right? So that's 13% of the population who are asleep. Right? 8% will wake up when they're shocked awake. The other 5, they're a write-off. Q has always said that. Right? So enjoy the TDS, guys, because it's humorous. I find it very humorous. But I also feel sorry for these people. I really do. That they are not awake enough to, or intelligent enough, or that they've been so deeply programmed to not see things for what they actually are. That's why I feel sorry for them. But I still laugh at them. I still find it hilarious. But
let me interject.
Chance, about the banks that you shared with me and said don't share it, and I didn't. And are you able to share that tonight?
What's that?
You know that intel you gave me about the banks? And you said not to share it, and I haven't. And I'm just wondering if you're able to share that now.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to lower the boom on that here in a minute. Well, I want to talk to everybody about something, okay? This is very, very important to me, okay? And you're going to think, well, here's Chance repeating himself again, because I do, okay? Now, never so in the history of anything like this in the world has ever happened before, but Kenny Rogers wrote it in a song that I really think applies to all of you right now, okay? You got to know when to hold them. That's what we're doing. We're holding currencies. You got to know when to fold them. And folding means when to cash them in. You've got to know when to walk away. That means walk away from all this nonsense on the internet, and know when to run. And that means run to the bank. Okay? Now, the next line of the chorus is, you never count your money while you're sitting at the table. That's what you guys are doing right now. Quit it. How much is all this Zim going to be worth? How much money am I going to be able to take a bath in? And
Greed.
You don't count your money. You don't count your money while you're sitting at the table. Okay? There'll be time enough for counting all that when you've gone through the paymaster. Okay? And you've gone home. Okay? When the deal is done. And that's when the dealing is done. Guys, quit asking for dates and rates. I mean, it seems so, I don't know, just a waste of energy. You're wasting your energy. If you got positive energy about it, take that energy and pray. Pray this thing in. That's what you got to do, is pray this thing in. But I don't think you're going to have to do much praying much longer, because I'm going to give you the intel. Okay? Now, Doc, I want numbers as soon as I'm done with this intel about how many people drop off this show. They don't want to hear the end of the show, okay? So I want numbers. You got numbers now?
Yes, I do. Hold on.
You're being watched, guys.
We are taking pictures.
Okay. All right.
That's the best way to do it.
Okay.
It's 735 according to Else.
There you go.
Elsie Monday.
There you go.
Yeah. Santa's going to know.
Starlight 24/7 saying 735. So I'm guessing.
Okay. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this before I read the intel and the numbers drop off. If you're going to order your RV protocol papers, guys, guess what? This may be the last call. Okay. 319-561-0064 is my Cash App. Or you can send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com. Yes, they will work in New Zealand. Yes, they will work in Australia. Yes, they will work in the United Kingdom. Yes, they will work in Britain. Yes, they will work in Greenland. Yes, they will work in Vietnam. Okay? They will work anywhere. They're in English. I'm not going to translate them for you, okay? But they will work for you because it tells you just exactly how the process is going to go and what you are expected to do to be a good steward of the funds. Thank you, Brian. I had a brain fart there. Okay. Okay. Now wait a minute. I want to see what James got here. He says, if I get $250 for the VND, I will sat something I would never said before. I love dong. Oh my god.
That is funny. That is funny.
Double entendre. Love it.
And I eventually don't say shit because I'm afraid there might be a child watching, and so.
Good night, everybody. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Goodbye. We're going to be kicked off every platform.
Okay. Okay, guys. So listen, get your RV protocol papers now. Email me at chancemusic@yahoo.com if you're overseas. You can send me money by Wise. I'll send you a request for funds, and I can email you the protocol papers tonight. I've been emailing them to people all weekend here and there. And listen, your opinion on the light wave, the solar flash, will this happen soon?
It's a ripple. It's not just one conducive format that is emanating. Like there's an influence from the astral. There's an influence you can assume from the angelics. There's an influence from the ETs. It is a ripple that never stays stagnant. Okay. So, but there's also almost like a counter fluctuation too. And it has to do with the collective because we're purging one realm for another. There's no way around it. And it's how expansion works. Expansion is always continuing. It's always never going to stay stagnant. And I think as time goes on, we're going to be able to identify or relearn what these energies are and how they will have a different value and a different meaning, not only individually, but collectively as we kind of like expand further, whether it's get to know your inner earth neighbors or your external family from outside this planet. It's going to change exponentially. So I wouldn't focus too much on like the Schumann resonance or this and that, because the Schumann resonance is always rippling. And we have a Schumann resonance too. So ours is always rippling. That's just how creation is. All right, Chance, back to you.
There was a question about trust.
I just added 1 million dong to my Wise account. So yes, dong is still available, but maybe not to new customers.
Yeah.
So,
there was a question about trusts. Yes, it's advisable to have a trust before you go for your exchange. If you get the RV documents that Chance is talking about, there is a basic trust in that set of documents. Okay?
Bare bones. It's a bare bones trust.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's $50, but I tell you, $50 US, but it's well worth the money. I got mine, and by going through it and reading it, I learned a few things. How's that? So that's how good these documents are. So I highly recommend that people do get the RV documents. Okay.
So with that in mind, we've done the RV documents. So now we're going to go back to the intel, and we're going to see how many people drop off after the intel is given. Okay. Holy cow, we got a lot of it. Okay. Okay. As of yesterday, the lead bank, said there's a 90+ chance of things happening quicker than what they thought. Okay. And they thought that the RV was going to happen early this week. It might be quicker. Remember the 5th of November. A revocable yes. Okay, now this is from Zurich. Okay. Basically, what's happening in Zurich is they're saying the Forex goes live with the Iraqi dinar on Monday. Okay? Keep that in mind. What day is today? Anybody know? It's the 17th. It's Sunday. When is Monday? Oh, gee, according to my clock, it's about 2.5 hours. You understand that you're at the 11th hour now? Wise ran out of debit cards for USA? Yes, because they will be getting the new quantum financial cards that will be working in conjunction with the QFS. Wise is probably one of the most popular platforms in our realm. Okay, so there, you don't even have to transfer. You don't even have to transfer your money back if you don't want to. But you can put, do whatever you want. Transfer it to US dollars. It doesn't matter. Your debit card will do the transferring for you. Okay? Now, the last bit of intel. This is the last bit. And if I get anything else, I'm going to put it on the private group. Yes, Chance's Chat Live 2 is a private group. So if you want to join that group, you are going to have to send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com. That's the only way you're going to get the updates when I go live. I do like a 1-minute video. So I will be putting updates on there. And when the 800 numbers come out, I'm going to be putting them on chancemcfadden.com. Okay? And so, Doc, you'd be looking to talk to me in the next couple of days because we're probably going to have some 800 numbers to put on the site. Okay? All right. Here we go with the last bit of information. The Admirals Group, and I assume they mean not the core group, but the offshoot groups, because the core groups have already gone. Because there's a lot of people in the Admirals Group, okay? Their funds should be available Monday. When is Monday? Well, that would be tomorrow. Do you guys realize the urgency and the importance of this emergency red alert video that we've all come together to give this to you to, okay? Now, there may be such a thing that they're just putting this out there to get everybody off guard, and then they try to go in there and do something, and then they snag a bunch of them. But I think they've done that enough times that I think this is actually it. Plus, we're going to have a good Thanksgiving. Trump said that, and he says we're going to have the best Christmas ever, and we're going to have that too. Okay. First of all, I want to tell you, even though the last couple of years for me has been exhausting, with on starting out on the show that I started on, and then coming to Doc G, and I've put my whole heart and soul into this, and Law Dogs will not be available until 91 days after everything's, the NDAs are over. But had an interesting conversation with my son today. He says, if you're going to put Law Dogs across the street, he says, I want to live in the apartment. So the Law Dogs might exist up there with my son. It's a nice apartment. It really is a really nice apartment. It's an old brick building. It used to be at a bar and a restaurant, and it would suit me fine because I wouldn't have to go too far to work. You know what I mean? Yeah, Diane. Hi, Diane and Kim. Happy birthday, Wyatt. Is today your birthday?
It is. I'm 64.
Oh man, he's a youngster.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Okay? I just had a look at the debt clock because somebody said go and have a look at the debt clock. The secret window's up and it says all in USA Wealth Discovery. It's got a picture of the dividend dollar. US national debt 0. Even though the national
I'm
debt
not affiliated with anybody.
So yeah, unreal. That is.
Well, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. Go and check the debt clock. Go the US debt clock out. I do tell everybody to do that, even while they're here listening to us. Just open up a new window and have a look. That is really, really good. It's here.
Well,
it's here.
Listen,
it is
guys,
happening right now.
And here's something I want you to pay very, very close attention to because it's something I'm going to have to pay close attention to at home, okay, and everywhere I go. And that is, remember how I've been telling you for the last 4 months, Doc G, everybody else, I've been telling you, get your money out of the bank because you could wake up tomorrow morning and your bank could be closed. This is not bullshit. This is absolute possibility. And then you're going to be sitting there for 10 days or till you go in for your exchange or until you get your Wise account or whatever you're going to do, set up a new bank account or whatever you're going to do. You're going to be sitting there saying, man, I just wish I had a couple $100 or something, you know?
Or just have a couple $100 in your wallet and don't take it out. It doesn't matter. It's going to be here anyways. But the more you have, just in case for emergencies, the better. So pick your poison.
Yes. Today's Tara's birthday on the Telegram group. Happy birthday,
Tara.
And Tara, do me a favor and send me your mailing address because I have something I'm going to send to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, just just as an interjection, I want you guys to realize that if you've got foreign currencies and whatnot, don't draw attention to yourself. You know, don't go out and buy the latest Lamborghini, right? You know, especially if you're driving around in a beat up old Dodge or something like that, right? You're just going to draw attention to yourself and unnecessary. So if you're going to buy a new car, go and buy. Well, I'm going to go and buy a good second-hand car, right?
Oh, not me.
I'm not going to go and buy a new one.
I'm not going to go and buy a new
one. You know, I'm not going to draw attention to myself. But, you know, use this. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Use this. And you'll be on an NDA, so you won't be able to talk to anybody about, you know, where you went to do the exchange. You're not going to be able to talk about how much you got or anything like that, or, you know, you're not going to be able to talk to anybody about, you know, what happens in the process or anything like that. Take a holiday. Go to somewhere where nobody knows who you are, and that way you don't have to talk to anybody about anything.
Don't talk to your kids. That's number one.
Oh,
rule.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Don't. No kids, spouse.
I mean,
spouse isn't in the know.
Everybody should be old enough to know who among their friends has a big mouth and can't keep a secret. I'm hoping that you do. So, but the thing is, on an NDA, you break that NDA, you're not going. They'll take it off you. They'll freeze your assets. They'll take it off you. So don't break the NDA, please, for your
keep
sake.
your mouth shut. Don't. If somebody asks you, "Where'd you get that nice car?" You just turn around to them and say, "Oh, Nanya."
Yeah, I got it down at the local dealer.
Nanya?
I got a sweetheart deal. That's all you have to say. You don't have to give them any information about anything. And this, you think about the people who've got money. They never talk about how much they've got or what they've got it invested in. Even Trump doesn't do that. Right? So,
Yep, you got to use your
engage the
noggin.
brain. Yep, engage the brain.
Yep. My God, guys, this has been such a great show tonight. We brought a lot of information, and I want to thank Wyatt for putting it all together tonight. And he says we got to bring this out to the people, and I said, well, we're going to do it. So, Doc G, many thanks. Listen, if you got any donations for the station, send them to Cash App 319-561-0064. I will forward them on to Doc G. I have his Cash App. I will forward it on. He went out of his way, his family night with his family, to put this special show up. And, if everybody sends him $5, it'd be a wonderful, wonderful gesture. And I want you to know that even if this show isn't the kind of show that it is now next week, we still will be on the air. I'm going to change gears to a music show, and I am the world's greatest expert on nothing when it comes to music. So, actually, no, I've done music my whole life, and I'm actually well versed in most styles, and I'm 72 years old. So what my grandpa used to say is, I've been to town once. I see what goes on there. I didn't care for it too much, so I came home.
I want to thank. I especially want to thank Doc G's wife for putting up with us on a Sunday. She's a very tolerant woman, Doc.
And thank
you very much.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I do this, because if she let me do it, I know guys like, I'm just going to do it, but I always am partial to asking if it's okay, because I didn't know if my daughter wants to watch movies and family time. But this is so important, guys. It's one of them things that if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. And I'm glad that I can implement and make it happen to do it. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. It's because I'm glad.
How about your final thoughts for tonight, Doc G?
Oh, my final thoughts. Well, thanks again to my wife, Sandy, for doing this with me and letting me do this. Everybody, again, financially, you've got to be stable right now, because, again, we're not extremely sure, but we know pretty much it's going to happen. And with that, just please, please, please don't go out and spend crazy monies anywhere. Try to hold it back for at least a couple months until you get back in the groove. That's what I'm doing anyway. And I've been doing it for months and years. So, but I want to wish everybody well, and hopefully we'll see everybody next week and we'll have a better week. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll go up next. So,
fascinating, a little bit more about our fascinating, Brian. What do you got to say?
Your phones. Okay. So, with what you have been given as this opportunity, I'm going to recommend, again, my opinion, with advice from some guides, Christ guides. Create, as always, your highest vibrational ripple of creativity for the outcome that you want, that represents the humans in general. Okay, in the abundance, the idea of abundance, not about the money, just the ideas about abundance, and feel the joy aspect of it, feel the energy of the transparency, and just periodically ripple that out throughout the day, believing in it, knowing it's already here in the now moment, and then zero out your energy. That's all you have to do. to spur on that ripple effect of creativity, and it will be there in that now moment when you least expect it, because it is that powerful. So know that you, everybody, including myself, are that powerful. And you just end it with, and so it is. That's it.
All right. Wyatt, what is your final thoughts tonight, sir?
All right. Hillary. All right. She's gone. All right. They've gone a long time ago. Final thoughts are that stay positive, stay in the now. Do not dwell on the past, right? Because that's also a negative energy because it keeps you there. Trust Trump. Trust the plan. It has been executed to perfection and has caught everybody by surprise. And that's why even though, like Derek Johnson may have touched on the fact that the Republic was already going and Trump and everything, this was the commander in chief and everything. Nobody really put it together in the sequence of what I laid out earlier in this podcast. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it as soon as it's finished. Just do a search. But the thing is, it's about the election was the real boom on this, right? That it was actually done under the Republic, under military supervision, which is the compliance required under NASARA. So yes, the market crash is coming, the dollar's coming down. It's all going to happen at once, and it's going to happen in chances speedboat theory. All sitting in a circle, all facing each other, and they decide to start the engines, and away they go. Bang, boom. That's what's going to happen. So just be prepared for it, right? And I'd also finally like to thank everybody for your kind birthday wishes. It's appreciated. But, we all move forward together. Where we go one, we go all. It has multiple meanings, multiple levels of that. And I've got to tell you, from my perspective, I'm going to be starting to work on my project straight away because I'm going to make it a part of my NDA. And you can negotiate your NDA to allow other people to know what's going on so that you can get your humanitarian projects going if you need to. That's another point that needed to be made. And I think, this time next week, or maybe even by Thursday, we'll be living in a completely different world. Whether the internet will be up and running or not, or I don't know, because we may be going through the EBS, and they have been testing those, right? So, she's gone a long time ago. So that's it. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone in America. Australia does not celebrate it, but happy Thanksgiving. And we will have a very, very beautiful Christmas. All right. But really, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Chance. Thank you, Doc. You guys are amazing people, and I love being around you, even though we're at a distance, but we are connected. So, and I love that, and I like a lot of the people in here who come in on a regular basis. Thank you for coming in and listening to me rant. And for the noobs, my suggestion is that you go back onto YouTube and to look at some previous shows, and that way you can catch up with the information. And I think Chance would love that too. So, yeah, we are all for one and one for all. Anyway, that's me. I'm out. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. This red hot special edition is brought to you by HamiltonRadio.net. Okay? When I say there's only one way to rock, I mean it. HamiltonRadio.net. It's my favorite station, period. Okay? I'm Chance McFadden. I love all of you guys. I'll see you soon. And if you want to buy that Flying V guitar, go to FortMadisonGuitars.com because that's where you can buy it at. Okay? That one right there that's behind you. Yeah, okay. All right, guys. Listen, God bless you all. I love you all. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.